Now, it is time for us to welcome the first speaker. Risa Hirooka from St. Paul's University will deliver the speech under the title of Make a Cube with Information. Make a Cube with Information. Risa Hirooka, please come up to the stage.
Thank you, Master of Ceremonies, distinguished judges, questioners, and all the organizers today. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Do you remember how confusing it was when COVID was announced? This might become a break to the situation. In 2021, the information about COVID-19 vaccine was reported on the news as a new hope. However, I was terrified. It was because everyone in my family blindly accepted that the vaccine was safe. But I thought, what if the vaccine contains something dangerous? I don't want to get sick from it. So there, I decided to look it up on social media. But I was shocked. All I could find was about the dangers of vaccines. Some even said, people who take vaccines are idiots. So I thought, oh, maybe I was deceived and in a biased environment. When facing whether to get vaccinated or not, I argued with my mother. I still vividly remember shouting to her. I said, I don't want to get it. My family still believed in vaccines, though I didn't want to. It was my very first time disagreeing with my parents, and I hated it. Back then, I was so fixed on the idea that social media was right. It led to an argument with my beloved mother, which I deeply regret right now. But it also allowed me to learn and grow. Today, I would like to talk about how we can break free from our dogmatic viewpoint and instead better navigate through the world of information overload. What do you pay attention to when you're presented with information? Aren't you accepting it the way it is? If your viewpoints are if you are unaware of how you process information, you might be digesting it through a biased filter. That means we're letting it affected by our existing beliefs or stereotypes, and as a result, making decisions less objectively. According to a research conducted by a company called BizHits, 1 in 2 people experience failure because of being less objective about themselves. These failures are such as making mistakes or suffering in relationships. Many people are suffering from being narrow-minded. Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever experienced a situation like this? 2 of your friends are having a fight and they're both asking you for advice. In these situations, if your viewpoints are fixed, maybe because of the stronger relationship with one another, it might seem to you as if the other is telling the truth and the other is telling a lie. It'll be difficult for you to listen fairly to both opinions. This can hurt not only one, but both, and later you may have regrets, like, I lost a friend because I had a fixed viewpoint. There are too many things like this in life. Obviously, having a fixed viewpoint causes situations full of downsides. There are many reasons why our viewpoints get stuck on one source unknowingly. If your viewpoints are fixed on the negative side, it might be because of your experience, and it also depends on the state of mind you have at that time. In addition, everyone has biases. This includes confirmation bias, Confirmation bias is the tendency to prefer and seek out information that supports our pre-existing beliefs. Or negative bias, which makes us more likely to believe in negative things. Others might have stereotype biases. They're biases as much as there are stars. And so, no matter how hard we try, biases will narrow our way of thinking unwittingly. However, if we could consciously broaden our mindset, we can put a stop to it. Hence, I would like to introduce how to think more objectively. That is to think. This is just one part of a larger whole. We need to look at whatever information from several perspectives. But how can we get the idea of it in detail? To do so, I will introduce the cube of information. This is to think of any idea as just one aspect, just like the squares that make up a cube. There are 2 steps for this method. Please imagine a cube and suppose you have an information about something. It can be anything like maybe some opinions about politics. And the first step is pasting. When you receive the information, before you believe or doubt it, imagine pasting the information you received on one side of the cube and clarify who said what. Like, this politician is popular on TV. By making opinions or information clear as facts, we can avoid blindly accepting them as our opinions, like, this politician must be the best. Second step is gazing. Try to look at the information from different perspectives by thinking, well, I wonder how this would look from the other side. When doing so, I recommend gathering information from different sources of media, such as academic papers, books, online articles, newspapers, and social media. By thinking like this, we can gather information from several perspectives, and at the same time, calmly clarify who is saying what. After using this cube of information, it became possible for me to make a calm judgment. For example, right now, if I search for information about COVID-19 vaccine on the internet, instead of being surprised at how many people are against vaccines, I would imagine pasting them on one side of the cube and think, okay, so there are many people against vaccines on the internet. But I wonder how it is evaluated on the other side, such as on TV or by people around me. I once lost confidence in my decisions because my viewpoints were once fixed. However, after using the cube of information, I gained confidence that I'm not dominated by certain ideas and have several perspectives. I strongly hope that this cube of information would save people who suffer of information. Now it's your turn to start pasting and gazing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Risa Hirooka. Then we will have a question and answer session. Mr. Carver, please begin.
Thank you very much for your speech and for that thoughtful consideration of the topic.
Thank you.
My first question for you, your proposal focuses on changing the mindset of individuals to help fight some of the negative effects of things such as social media.
Yes.
What other solutions do you think might be effective for addressing that issue?
Sorry, could you say that one more time?
I'm just wondering what other solutions beyond changing the mindset of individuals might be useful for combating the dangers of social media or of misinformation?
For individual issues, I think to maybe for individual issues, I think social media would affect you in a bad way, and so I think it's important to ask a lot of people because it's something that you can't really solve alone. It's something that you have to gather information from other perspectives, and so I think it's something that you have to solve it from not individual, but with somebody else.
Thank you. A lot of your speech is about the idea of trust, trusting the information, trusting yourself. Why do you think maybe trust is so difficult for us to have today?
Because trust is something that it's hard for us to get. It's when we face some information, it might sometimes, because of bias, it would be we trust things because we have biases or some thoughts that we used to have, but trust is something that you have to have after you it's something you build. It's not something you can get easily, and so that's really the core of it. I think that's the main part of it. And so, sometimes social media would affect you in a bad way and make it seem like you trust it, but it's something that you should not. So maybe that's really, that is such like an illusion. It seems to you something fake. And so I think that's really like the core of it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Confer. Then, Mr. Tokuhisa, please.
Thank you very much, Risa, for your very informative speech. And let me ask you a few questions. First one is that you said that you had an argument with your mother regarding the vaccine. And what was the conclusion that you made?
The conclusion, I told my mother that I thought I was trusting too much of information, and then she also told me that she also told me the reason why she thought that it was safe. I thought that she was blindly accepting it, but she wasn't. She was actually gathering information from different sources of media, just like I just proposed here. And so, yeah, I realized that she was actually doing what I had to do.
And did you both took the vaccines?
Yes.
Okay. And but still, there are a lot of people in the media, social media, including experts and doctors who talk about the bad aspects of the vaccines. And if one of your close friends would still insist that she or he would believe in such reputation of the COVID vaccine, and once you say you have advised her to use your cube of information system to evaluate it, but he or she still thinks that vaccines would be harmful for her, what would you do after you advise such cube of information method to her or him?
If she or he actually used it and then made a conclusion with it, I think it's the right, well, nothing is right or wrong, but I think that's the right thing for her. And so the cube of information is aims to sort out the information you received objectively. And so if she has done it and then made a conclusion, then that's the right way. And so I think she's not really fooled by the information, but she actually did it right in the right way. So I would really support her opinion.
I see, thank you. And my last question would be that a cube, as you know, has 6 sides or 6 facets. And to gather information to be fit into each of the 6 facets, that would be quite time consuming. And even after pasting such information to the cube, you have to gaze them. And that would also quite be time consuming. And how would you say that such time consuming method would be effective for making your decisions quickly?
I use the cube. Actually, I use the cube to explain how to think objectively. So I think it's not really necessary for you to use that every time. And I want you to try to use it when making especially important decisions, but maybe sometimes doing it in your daily life so that you can naturally do it in other times. And so you don't really have to get in the idea that you have to use the cube every time, but I think you can use it more flexibility and try to use it in your own way after you get the idea of using the cube.
I see. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Tokuhisa. Again, thank you so much, Mr. Comfort, Mr. Tokuhisa, and Risa Hirooka.
Thank you.